we all get into a pinch every now and then where we require a little bit of help. And there's nothing wrong with that because, the life experience could be a difficult one sometimes. And there are just some things we can't handle on our own. So we require a little assistance. But I need to address a certain group of people that just need to learn how to keep their mouth shut when in times of trouble. And I'm going to tell you how they're messing themselves up out of someone helping them. Let's say that you're in a situation, let me just throw up an idea. Let's say that you got electric bill is really high, your hours were cut at work, you've been trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, and you don't have the money to pay the bill, and you went to work one day, you came home and your lights were off. Or maybe they're getting ready to cut off by the end of the day if you don't pay the money by 5 o'clock or whatever time the electric company closes. But you don't have the money. So what you do is you start thinking in your mind who you can go to get the money. Now, it could be one person that you can get all the money from, or you could take a little bit of money from several people in order to do that. Or if you could just call the electric company on the phone, try to make some type of arrangements, find out what the minimum is to get the lights cut back on, and you focus on that, whatever you need to do. But the thing is when the problem presents itself and you don't have the money, you already have an idea who you can go to get the money. So let's just say in a good scenario, there's one person that you can go to, they have the money, you're on pretty decent terms with them. You never ask for much in the beginning, and you decide you want to go to this person for money. Well, sometimes when we get in desperate times, we develop a desperate mindset, and it's not rational sometimes. Here it is, maybe 12, 1 o'clock. It's around lunchtime. You could barely eat because you're worried about trying to get some money by 5 o'clock so they won't cut your lights off. We're going through a heat wave right now, so you need your air conditioning. And you don't want your food to spoil in your refrigerator or your freezer. So it makes sense that you want to try to get this money by the end of the day. You call the person that you need to speak to and they're unavailable for whatever reason. We all have to understand when we're reaching out to get people to help us, we have to understand that those people have lives too. And so one or two things you could do when you can't reach that person. Number one, think in your rational mind, okay, you know what, I'll send them a text, I'll contact them a little bit later, maybe they're preoccupied. But some of y'all who are just impulsive by nature anyway, you do crazy things like you sit there and you try to blow up the phone until they pick up the phone. By that time, they're irritated. Or they wind up turning the phone off altogether. Or if you can't reach them at all or get through to them, you'll turn around and resort to the next rotten thing to do. You're so desperate-minded and you're not used to thinking rationally. You're not used to thinking things through. This electricity situation was probably your fault because you probably threw the money away anyway and you're not on good terms with the electric company. So now you're in trouble and you could think of this one person who can help you. And because they weren't available when you wanted them to be available, you decide to go off the rails. And the one thing you don't do is when you know somebody is willing to help you, and I had to learn this in my life, is be patient. If they say they're going to help you and you know they are going to be able to help you, just stick with them. Stick it out, tough it out. Because if you trust and believe that this person is going to help you, that's all you need. But as I stated before, when you get in a desperate mindset, you don't think rationally. So these irresponsible, impulsive people will turn around because they can't get through to that one person that they know can help them in that one instance. They go ahead and they start getting on social media, they get on the phone, they get on text, start calling everybody else that ain't got shit to help them, and start complaining about the person who does help them. That's a bad move, people. And I see this mess on Facebook every single day. Somebody will put out there that they need help with something, and if they don't get it in the time frame that they need it, And these people have a history of being messy and not handling their responsibilities anyway. They turn around and get mad at the one person who didn't help them when they wanted them to help them, at the time they wanted them to help them. Their little spoiled asses will turn around and get on social media and start talking mess about the person who could help them. That's a rotten move. I was told when I was a little kid, you never bite the hand that feeds you. You don't. And if you're in a situation right now, it's 12 or 1 o'clock, and you know you owe $180 from the electric company because you didn't pay the bill last month, you didn't call to make any payment arrangements, you're not on budget billing, you didn't do anything, you just let the bill slide, let it slide, slide, and didn't pay them anything for 2-3 months. Now they're going to cut your stuff off today at 5 o'clock, and you know full and darn well you don't have the money. You should be thankful that you have that one person that you could think of that can help you, or the two people who can put together. Because some people don't have that. Some people are going to have to be stuck sitting in the dark for a couple of days until they get paid, or go over to somebody's couch and stay on their couch until they can get back into their house once the electricity gets back on. But you don't have sense enough to see that. Your little spoiled, impatient behind's going to turn around and start getting on the phone, talking mess about the other person to people who cannot help you with your circumstance. They can't help you. They don't have the money. They don't have the resources. And every time y'all go to these people, you already know before you even pick up the phone that they ain't got the money, but they got an ear to sit there and listen to you talk junk about it. So all this time that you're spending, mind you now, you got 5 hours to pay this bill. And you're going to spend all that time talking mess about somebody you couldn't get on the phone one time. So let's say it gets around 3 or 4 o'clock, all of a sudden that person calls you back and they'll be like, well, sorry, I couldn't get back to you because of so-and-so and so. And they have a legitimate explanation. You start to feel a little bad then because you realize what you've done in a few hours. You sat there and talked mess to them. Now, the one or two things is going to happen. They're going to go ahead and help you because they don't know what you've been doing. Or one of those people that you talked junk to went back to them and told them what was going on. They called you back to let you know they're not going to help you because you don't know how to be responsible and take care of your business. That's a risk that you took. This goes back to the microwave mentality that I'm talking about, people. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. If you see somebody, I don't care whether you agree with their point of view, I don't care if you agree with their lifestyle or anything else, but if you're in a predicament where you need some kind of help, it doesn't have to be financial. It could be emotional. It could be some type of psychological or religious help. It could be spiritual help. It could be something like that. This person could have resources. They could have education in something that you're dealing with right now. Just because you do not agree with the way that person lives or acts does not give you the right to dismiss them as a source. I'm letting that sink in because somebody needs to hear this. Let me say it again. Just because you do not agree or approve with the way somebody acts or the way they live does not give you the right to dismiss them as a source. And there are some of y'all that are doing that shit right now. There are some of you with your nose so high up in the sky, you're at the top of Jack's Beanstalk. And for those of you who don't know about Jack and the Beanstalk, it's a fairy tale, look it up. You're so high, you're at the top of Jack's Beanstalk, your nose is so high up in the air. And you've got this huge list of people that you just don't deal with because they don't meet with your criteria. But then when you go through some bullshit, you start thinking about those people. Then all of a sudden those people, a few of them might help. But the majority of them aren't going to deal with you because they're going to wonder where the hell you've been. They already know that you don't approve of them. They already know that you don't appreciate them. But they're the only people that can help you get out of the bullshit that you're in. So y'all need to stop this. So the person with the electric bill, like I said, they're either going to keep them on or keep them off. But I'm going to tell you something. If you ever in a position where you need help from somebody, first of all, don't be going around criticizing people and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You see one or two things that they do or don't do, and you've developed a whole world for them. You're not in contact with them on a regular basis. You don't live with them, so you don't know what's going on. We're all created on this earth, and we all have a different purpose. So we're all different, and you just don't know when you're going to wind up in a situation where you're going to need that person, but that person's going to think about how you treated them, and you're going to be stuck. And that's what happened with this food with the electric situation. Don't do that. I know it's hard. When you're in a desperate mindset, patience is not available. There is no patience when you're desperate. You run to anything and everything because it's all about survival. You're in a survival mindset. A lot of people in survival mindset, they're not very patient. They're trying to get whatever they can get to sustain. And rightly so, because when you are hungry, you eat. When you're sleepy, you sleep. When you're thirsty, you drink. You don't have time to analyze whether or not the food's any good. You don't have time to analyze if the water's any good. If you know you're going to die if you don't take that nourishment right then and there, then you just go ahead and you take it, and you just take your chances. You just take your chances. So I just say this to say this. Don't let desperation drive you to behave in a way where you can damage a relationship with somebody. Don't do it. And don't be so judgmental of people that are different than you. Because by now you should already know, I've said on this channel, that life is very, very unpredictable. You don't know when you're going to be in a situation where that one person that you've given a hard time all this time could probably be the only person that helped make your situation a little bit easier. But because of the way you treated them, you gambling on whether or not they're willing to do anything to help you.